Yo, what's happening, Qcumber squad, and welcome back to the Fable sphere. We shall continue with the skip the line weekends. As you know, I do all the skip the line requests, which are paid requests on the weekends. During the week, I do all the normal reactions, so it doesn't get in the way of everybody else's stuff. So don't worry. Link is in the pinned comment for the website. You can go there, join the sphere, that's completely free. You can request reactions, you can request skip the line reactions. That form will now open on Monday again, and you can request 8 slots. There's only 8 slots available, but you can request reactions for this coming weekend. And I will keep changing up the prices and things like that. I'll keep doing specials for you guys, so that makes it a little bit more affordable for you guys to get your reactions through. Right, so yeah, another one for Frank Warner. Happy birthday once again, 5,000-year-old silver fox, blah blah. Said it already in 2 separate videos. Happy birthday, I hope it's a super awesome birthday. And happy Easter to everybody, man. I hope you guys are all having an awesome Easter. But now, we've got the father of rap in the UK, Akala, man. Murder Runs the Globe. I've never reacted to Murder Runs the Globe, but we have reacted to Akala before. This man is a bar spitter, man. This guy's absolutely incredible. Unbelievable MC. Really does some amazing stuff. Always speaks truth. He's all about knowledge. Love him. Absolutely love him. And I know Frank obviously loves him. So without further ado, man, let's get straight into it. Akala, Murder Runs the Globe. I kind of feel I know where this is going, but let's go. Just by the video.
Every shot that thunders through the nighttime, don't you wonder what potential was extinguished to keep the flames burning under through the underworld and overworld?
What potential was extinguished? Every shot that was shot, right? So in wars and all these things, like what potential was extinguished? What life did we destroy? What potential that upcoming of children and people that could have lived full lives, that could have achieved their dreams, what potentials was extinguished to light the flames of the underworld? Come on, bro. Bars already, bro. Come on. You know with Akala, man, you're gonna get this heavy shit, man. Let's go.
Extinguished to keep the flames burning under through the underworld and overworld. Principles are so the same. No, we pretend they're not, as if they do not control cocaine. But you find us connected. Every kid in the hood that's living with a death wish is the same as the king who kills for the bling, but he's just much more reckless. It's the king that I'm talking about, who's born with a...
It's the same as a king that kills for the bling. So obviously a king that kills for all of the wealth of the nation. So for all the treasures, for all the gold and things like that. But with a lot more blinks. He's talking about politicians, right? So basically politicians who kill for the bling, and he's basically saying that that drugs as well, like drugs that are killing the world and whatever else, this is all connected, man. It's all connected to these warlords, it's all connected to these politicians. They play these games with innocent lives so that they can further enhance their own lives, they can further make money and things like that. And at some point it actually goes past money, it actually goes to power, like what's happening in Ukraine right now. It's more, that's very little to do about actual money and more about the power that once was, like to reignite the Soviet Union and to grab that land back. I'm very glad it's not going the way Putin had planned it. But that's what these guys do, man. These old men dream up wars so that young men can go and fight them, and they feel powerful when doing that. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
The death wish is the same as the king who kills for the bling, but he's just much more reckless. It's the king that I'm talking about, who's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Still gonna clap for his lights to chat at any world leader that can't back it.
Yep, the king that I'm talking about was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Those kind of people, all these politicians and everything who lived the best of the best of the best lives. All of them. All of them went to the top colleges, came from wealthy families. They all had silver spoons in their mouth. They all have a lineage of wealth. Right? And they need to keep that up. They need to keep up the lineage of wealth, you know, but they come there and they try to act like there's some sort of connection between you and them. You're nothing to them, right? You're just pawns on a chessboard that they can use and have you all eaten up so that they can achieve their thing. And that's from literally from air to air to air to air, from politician to politician to politician to politician. They all play the same game. They're born into this. Let's go.
About who's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Still gonna clap for his lights to chat at any world leader that can't back it. If he's sitting on the boxes, they're just oil mineral deposits. Foodies moving fucking with our profit, so you better stop it. They say money make the world go round, but it don't. That's just not true. If you ain't got guns to protect that money, I regret that, sonny. It's more for you. Only murder for
Akala, man. So he's basically saying, so, you know, there's a very, very common line. The premise is that, you know, money makes the world go round, right? Money runs the world. And he's saying, but basically Akala is saying, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. What runs the world is murder, right? Because it's become so much more cynical than that. So, and he's got the right to be cynical about it, because he's basically saying that, yes, money is a part of it, sure, these guys are wealthy, but the thing is that these guys already have acquired all that wealth. They've acquired all. This is no longer about money. This is about power. They do this because they can. And that's what's so evil about it. What's so evil about it, it's okay to kill children. It's okay to kill innocent people because we can, because we're powerful and we want to keep that power. Money is neither here nor there. Money doesn't actually run the globe, right? It's a tool that they have in their arsenal, right, to further acquire more power, right, via killing. Murder is what actually runs the globe, is what he's saying.
That's just not true if you ain't got guns to protect that money. I regret that, sonny, it's more for you. Only murder further agendas that money couldn't force. Eliminate the foes who propose to suppose a different course. Cause a little torture, usually a big supporter. Though there's nothing quite like killing. Good riddance to non-supporters. We demonize the man on the corner.
There's nothing like killing. Good riddance to all supporters. So if you are a supporter of peace, ciao, bruh. We call the shots here, right? We don't need you going against our agendas.
Oh, there's nothing quite like killing. Good riddance to non-supporters. We demonize the man on the corner. Paint him as a thug. We worship murder so much. It's just that he ain't killed enough. You wanna commit murder and not end up in cuffs? You gotta make it to the Premier League. 1,000 whoever said that money makes the world.
If you want to commit murder and not get cuffed, you need to make it to the Premier League. Now, Premier League is obviously the football league in the UK. Right? But in terms of like Premier, you need to be in the Premier League, the elite. You need to be the elite in the political game, right? But what I like about that is you can almost sort of like flip it in terms of like you need to make it to the Premier League because that's the playing ground, right? That's, you know, that's their game. Their game is the Premier League, and I like the way he's played on both of those, essentially. But he's basically saying that if, like all of these little small murderers, these people that are killing on the streets and things like that is absolutely nothing in comparison to the guys that are in the Premier League. If you want to commit murder, but mass murder of children, of women, of young men, of people, and you don't want to land up in cuffs, you need to make it to the Premier League. You need to go to the highest. The very people, ironically, right, that set the laws and say that this is all wrong, that they're sitting on their ivory towers and talking about decency and talking about values and morals, right, are the very people who don't run by any of those rules, right? They run by their own set of rules that murders and kills people, and there's absolutely zero repercussions for them. Because why? Because it's all, they're at the top. They're at the top of the hierarchy. They run the fucking show. You can't put me in cuffs when I'm running the show, when I'm the one running the system. I'll never allow you to put me in cuffs, because if there's ever talk about that, somehow you disappear. You know what I mean?
End up in cuffs, you gotta make it to the Premier League. 1,000 whoever said that money makes the world go round. They just didn't know murder runs the globe. Murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know murder runs the globe. Murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know murder runs the globe. Murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They didn't know murder runs the globe. Murder runs the globe. Every knife to puncture lungs, the sons won't make you wonder, mums. If he was born to billionaires, backed by 100 guns, would he be living still, drinking, sleeping, eating meals instead of dead? Where it don't count, we expect you to be killed, cause living as a pauper.
So basically, he's pushing the thought process over there. So he's kind of like trying to edge you into a question, trying to edge a question on you, saying, what if the environment was different? Right? What if you weren't born into the billionaires club? What if you weren't born into wealth? Right? Would you be one of those in a country that nobody cares about, that gets killed as a child, starving and getting bombed? Know what I mean? So he's basically saying, like, if things were different, if we had to take those politicians' children and say they weren't born into this kind of power, if they were just born in like a third world country where they are struggling to feed themselves and things like that, and then people started bombing there. Like, would anyone really care, essentially? So I like the way that he's trying to see the flip it, just the thought process of maybe flipping it, saying that this is all environmental. This is all about fucking darn hard luck, man. You're born into the billionaires club, and then it's also about bringing a bit of an understanding, saying how would you like it if you were born? What if your situation was different? What if you were born in these countries and there was somebody else who wanted to play the bully and wanted to play the power, very much like the superpowers do? You got to say America plays the bully because they're the superpower. Russia plays the bully because they're big and powerful and they've got their nukes to back them. China plays the bully because so all of these countries that have amassed some sort of power, right, and a superpower status, even with the ones that profess to have the greatest values in the world in terms of liberty and freedom, they've done some atrocious things to humanity as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, anyway.
Sleeping, eating meals instead of dead, where it don't count, we expect you to be killed. Cause living as a pauper is a fate that's tainted, acquainted with torture. We ain't debating the rape of the door. If she was raised in particular borders, place the fate made particular slopes.
That's it. Basically what I said over there, she was raised in particular borders. So basically saying you were just unlucky to be raised in particular borders. You were, some people got raised in America where, yeah, sure, Americans live the best, probably the best out of anybody in the world. Americans live the best lives there. But hey, if you were born in the borders of, let's say, Iraq and Syria, fuck me, man. Like, I'm sorry, that's just bad for you, man. You've got nothing to do with all this political, with all this political bullshit and all this crap that's happening between politicians and there. It's got nothing to do with you. You're just a young person that wants to live their life, but unfortunately you were born in the wrong borders. That was just an unlucky hand that you got.
With torture, we ain't debating the rape of the door. If she was raised in particular borders, place the fate made particular slaughters. No fate, just particular orders. It's the way of the world, no accident. In fact, it's immaculate. Got a big gun, stop clapping it. Cause the language of power devour quick. Any silly little pacifist or activist or challenges. Brown or black skinned savages who inhabit in land with minerals in it. Think for a minute that the rhetoric we spoke hope was not meant to be a joke. Don't dream compassion will happen, it won't. Just go straight for the focus.
You think compassion will happen, it won't. Compassion will happen, it won't. Because power rules all. Power rules all. Power supersedes all of that. There's no such thing as a powerful man who is born into riches with a silver spoon in their mouths, with a high level of privilege, is ever going to be able to have the mental fortitude to understand what suffering means. They've never felt that. They've never seen that. They don't know what suffering means. And when they are the ones causing the suffering to people, right? They don't have the EQ that, people say, look at what's happening to these people. Oh, well, they're plebs, man. They're peasants. I mean, fuck. You know what I mean? They're not elites like us. You know what I mean? Fuck them. That's how they think, because they've only got, their mind can only go up to a certain horizon. They can't expand their thinking further because they've never seen further. They've never experienced further. They've never come down to their level, to poor people's levels, to see how they operate on the ground. They're sitting high up in the clouds, and you're just a speck of dust and thing. And if you're in the way, we got to move Europe. We've got to move around, but we got to move around so that we can achieve our interests.
Any nation or races that prove themselves incapable, matching modern murder machines make themselves enslavable. It is murder, not money, we desire insatiable. The thrilling of the killing is $1 million sensational. Yes, what we can't do with a bribe could be achieved in the breeze with a gun and a knife. Because
what we can't do with a bribe can be achieved in the breeze with a gun and a knife. So basically say, we will get our fucking way whether you like it or you don't. You actually need to read a book called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Right, in terms of how, like America operated in, like economic hitmen operated in like Venezuela and things like that, and they would sort of go in there and say, okay, well, we want what we want. These are our interests. So either you align with us, right? If it means that we need to bribe you a little bit, that's fine, right? We can make you a very wealthy person so you can sell your country down the river so that you can give us what we want. In that case, it was oil, right? And if you still say, nope, we're not interested in that, and it's like, okay, no problem, we'll see you next time. And then they come back a lot more vicious but also still in the shadows. Like that's why I like what he said about the shadows. Is it's okay if that guy's not acquiescing to everything that we want, then we've got to take him out somehow, and accidentally something happened to him, and let's get the next guy in who'd be further willing to maybe negotiate and meet our terms, right? And if all of that doesn't succeed, then it's time to bring them some freedom. You know what I mean? Let's go.
What we can't do with a bribe could be achieved in the breeze with a gun and a knife, because only murder further agendas that money couldn't grind. Nothing like a couple dead kids to change a parent's mind.
Exactly. I love that. Sorry guys, I know I'm pausing a lot, but there's a lot in this. And basically it's nothing like a couple of dead kids to change a parent's mind. So it's basically a parent will do anything to just stop the killing. So it's basically you need to acquiesce to what we want, or your children will die. And we don't care that your children die, because we want what we want. It is our interest. And if you don't get that, we are willing to sacrifice everybody. We don't give a shit. We want what we want. It's a very aware rapper, this guy.
Whoever said that money makes the world go round, they just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Let's get a little clarity. You ain't got the capacity to internationally have a say in the way things happening. You expect to collect more batter in your arsenal, what ain't got no nukes. Armies equipped with too few troops. We're laughing at you when you call truce. Part of the ritual to shoot.
I spoke about that just a little bit earlier. We're saying, unfortunately, the bullies of the world will be the bullies of the world. If you don't have the arsenal, if you're not a nuclear power right now, like specifically now, right? You're not a nuclear power. You're not a strong force. You're going to get bullied, and you're going to get bullied by everybody. You're going to get bullied by all of the bigger countries. You're going to get bullied by Russia. You're going to get bullied by China, and you most certainly are going to get bullied by America, right? They're the big bullies in the yard, and unfortunately, if you just don't have what you got to match them, it's just, well, that's unfortunately your fate, is that you will forever be under their thumb, right? Because they will always hold that above your head. Essentially, I mean, if you had to think about countries right now with what's going on in the world now, I mean, if you're a small country like Taiwan or something like that, and you, like Taiwan or Japan or any of those sort of countries, how badly are you looking to get a nuclear weapon right now? Like, how badly are you looking to get a nuclear weapon right now? Because that's the only deterrence that works in today's world. That's the only deterrence that actually works in today's world against major aggressors, right? Against major superpowers. The only deterrence is we've got nukes, right? And we're happy to use them if you ever decide to be unfriendly towards us. You know, I mean, how badly do you think Ukraine would have liked to have kept those nukes that they once had from the Soviet Union, right? Because that, unfortunately, in today's world is an insurance policy. Nuclear weapons, WMDs, is an insurance policy today, and that's the way it works. It's mutually assured destruction. If I've got one, it's like, it doesn't matter. You don't need 6,000 nukes like the US and Russia has. They each got 6,000. You don't need 6,000 nukes today. You really only just need about 10 to literally wipe a country or even a continent off the face of the earth, essentially. So all of these small countries who have been bullied by all of these superpower countries, right? Militaristic superpowers, economic superpowers, whatever. How badly do they want nuclear weapons today? Because that is the only deterrence that they can get from these kind of countries. Because from a conventional perspective, they'll never win. You could never ever win a conventional war. Well, maybe not Russia. I mean, Russia's shown that their conventional capabilities are pretty pathetic, right? But then again, they hide behind the veil of nuclear power because they've got so many nukes, and the moment anybody says that you shudder in your boots. You know what I mean? Because of course it's nuclear weapons. But you'd be crazy to think that Putin would ever go down that alley, because he just knows what that means. He might as well nuke his own country. That was the idea of the whole America and Russia getting nuclear weapons. The whole idea of that is that it's mutual assured destruction. If you're going to take me out, you might as well take yourself out. because we'll wipe each other off, and there's no winners in this war, right? And that at least in a very sadistic way keeps the world at peace. Sad to think about that.
You got no background in colonization or public resource privatization. You can't bang with the big boys, face it, but you still wanna play like Satan. You got no death scores to call your own, or a pilot to fly your drones, much less bulldozers for their homes. Talk gangster, you wanna name Al Capone? He was an amateur. Silly little boys don't understand. Even he went jail for tax evasion, for missing a payment in a payment plan to the man. One with the
This is Al Capone. So basically he says all of these people, all of these drug lords, Al Capone, Pablo Escobar, all of those guys who you thought were thugs are amateurs. Amateurs. Even he went to prison for missing a tax payment. He went to prison for evading tax, for paying the big guy, the real big guy, right? It's like you're nothing, you're small, right? They allow you to operate under their guise. They allow you to operate and they just turn a blind eye. But the moment you don't cut them their check, they'd be like, okay, no. This guy is a menace to society and we gotta take him out because, you know what I mean? He's still, Al Capone and all those kind of guys are still, they're puppies in comparison to the people who actually run the world. Very clever.
Invisible hand, and I hit a fist to enforce my plan. I am just because I can, more wicked than the summer of Sam. Kick your shit and I kick my fam. You bust your gun and I bomb your land. Only murder further.
Bust your gun and I'll bomb your land. I will show you that I'm way more powerful than you. I'm far more powerful than you. You can bust your gun. You threaten in any way, and the use of force will be immense. It will be completely unparalleled.
In the summer of Sam, kick your shit and I kick my fam. You bust your gun and I bomb your land. Only murder further agendas that money can't control. Nothing like a massacred village to get the problem solved. Whoever said that money makes the world go round, they just didn't know. Murder runs the globe.
Nothing like a murdered village to solve the problem, of course, because none of these villages are they're never in their vicinity, right? These villages are always far. They're never in their backyard. It's never in the politician's backyard. They'll never do that in their backyard. They always do this where it's away from the so-called civilized world. We're just bringing freedom. We're just helping them. We're just doing this. We're just doing that. And you see it across the news media about all these atrocities that's happening even in Ukraine. But do people really care? All that people care about is that, yes, sure, people care in terms of like it's horrible what they're doing and it's horrible what America's done and things like that. But they deep down inside, they're like, thank God it's not here. You know what I mean? I'll carry on with my life. Yeah, sure. I mean, even here about like Ukraine, which is actually quite amazing, which completely flabbergasted me. We're talking about a country like America who are the people whose values are about peace and whose values are about liberty, freedom, democracy, right? And have been so specifically the right, so anti-communism. And they hate communism and they hate the fact that America's going down the communist route and shit like that, saying like, not my border, not my problem with Ukraine, right? When America is the very country that leads NATO. They're the leaders of the free world. And you have people who are anti-communists saying, not my border, not my problem, when an authoritarian leader is like pushing an imperialist agenda on its neighbor, right? And you think that at some point would not eventually land up on your borders? Do you think at some point that eventually would not affect America? Which I find ridiculous, that I find a lot of Republicans, very much like Adam Calhoun, saying, not my border, I don't give a fuck about Russia, I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. You know what I mean? It's amazing how the Europeans gave a fuck about America when they got hit in 9/11 and they went to fight with America in Afghanistan. And they had to go fight with America in Afghanistan. They had no other option. America runs NATO. They are the leaders of NATO. And when Europe had to go do that, they didn't say, not my border, not my problem. America's not in any of the European countries' borders, but they still sent their children to go and die in Afghanistan for America, right? But the moment the favor needs to be returned, it's like, not my favor, not my border, not my problem, right? The fact that that there's a real risk in Europe, and sure, Ukraine's not part of NATO, but there's a real risk in Europe that, you know, that the whole of the European Union is now at threat. Like power dynamics have now shifted. You know what I mean? That surely is a very big problem for America, but you get these people that are, no, it's not, I don't care. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about Ukraine, but God forbid you said that in 2001. If you said, I don't care about America, it's on my border. You know what I mean? Imagine.
So whoever said that money makes the world go round, they just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They just didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe. Who said money makes the world go round? They didn't know. Murder runs the globe, murder runs the globe.
I'm not going to say much more. Sorry, guys. Those are pretty long reactions. Usually these political songs get me on a bit of a rant. I apologize about that. Have to say what I have to say. And yeah, man, great song by Akala. But Akala is just like that. I love Akala. He's so in tune with like the real world, and I love the fact that he actually puts that knowledge into his music. He's a very, very, very educated man as well. And he doesn't just make garbage, like he literally takes his knowledge and he plugs it back into his music, and he tries to get that message out to the youth, which is pretty amazing. Brilliant UK MC. Great song, well done, Frank. As you know, me and you, Akala, down our alleys. Anyway, let me stop talking. I love you all. Peace, happy, healthy. Have a great Easter. I'll chat you in the next one. Peace.